for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in the games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation is happening in
the studio!
In the studio today, but it also happens at 8 a.m. on podcast services and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials, Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all our links in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist where you can watch us record this show live. You can get in the chat and you can become part of the show. If you want to support the show, tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you listen to us on podcast services, give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I think they both can do that. We are on SoundCloud as well, just for a little testing bed, if that's up your alley. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment below. We need to get some more love into that YouTube channel. We need to get some more love everywhere, really. So this is a big call of arms. If you like what we do, please tell others that you like what we do, and maybe they'll like what we do. And then they'll like what we do, and we like what they do, and then it'll just be this connection of liking stuff that we do. It'll be awesome. And if you want to support us financially, you can. Patreon.com/thepopculturist. Or my merchandise.com shop where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Now, let's address this, Max. You're in the studio again.
Oh, I am.
It's back. We have the restrictions have eased here in regional Victoria, so we can have one person over a day, and so like Millie kind of anyone on Saturdays. It's Max only. But technically, this is a business. We are a registered business here in Australia, so this could be work. So I think we can probably skirt the rules there again.
I mean, there'll still be time from time where we will do it remotely, but I will endeavor to get here as often as possible because the show is just so much more exciting in person.
It feels different.
It does.
It feels really different. Yeah. I can't explain. I don't like, and the fact you get to see me with my gimped out arm. That's another bonus. But yeah, no, it's good to have you back, man. It's like it's a different energy. It feels weird on having headphones on.
Yeah, I was hoping to get in last week, but we had some last minute baby things. And it was just easier to do it from home. But this week and next week, being the run up to the next gen.
Yeah, man.
You know,
and
hype levels are high, and
we'll be in this room with the PS5.
Oh, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be playing PS5. If you think I'm recording on Saturday, you are fooling yourself.
Because we're playing PS5 up until that moment, and then do the show, and then back on the PS5.
Yeah, but see, that might be one that I record from home, so I can just play PlayStation at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think we should have it because that way we can bring yours to have two in the middle, just to show everyone that there's two of them in this one room. But Hodge Burn It Down in the chat does bring up a good question. What happened to my arm?
He stepped out of line.
Yeah, for those that are listening on the audio version, I am currently sitting here in a sling. Because last week on Sunday, so we recorded on the Saturday as we normally do. One Sunday, I was like, I'm going to go for my walk. Get ready, everyone. This story is really embarrassing. So I leave my house. I'm walking down my street. I've got headphones on. I've got sunnies on. I got a hat on. I'm barely paying attention to the world around me. And next thing, something just comes out of my peripheral. And it's like in my face. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I kind of catch myself off guard. It's a plover. So plovers are a vicious bird that just swoop the living shit out of you. So I'm like, whoa, shit. And then it comes back. And I stumble on my feet. And I proceed to hip and shoulder the concrete. I go, and not like, you know when you see people fall, they go, doosh, and then they tumble? No, I just doosh. I just piked the ground. I had all my body weight, all force into the concrete. And then the bird's still swooping me, might I add. Puppers are fucking vicious. Because I was walking to the supermarket. So I get up, it's still swooping, I swing my shopping bags at him, like, go away! With my arm that was already hurting, so I may have made it worse. And the bird kind of like, yeah, all right then, and sort of fucks off. And then I proceed to keep walking in the shop, like, oh, that sucks. Oh, keep walking. And it's getting worse and worse. I'm like, oh no, fuck me. So I grab my phone, I call Millie, and I'm like, my wife. I'm like, can you come pick me up? I'm hurt.
The birds are teasing me.
The birds are mean to me and it hurts. So she's like, yeah, I'll come get you. So she goes and picks me up. And we drive back the way that I was walking to be like, I'll show you where it all went down. We come around the corner and that plover is standing in the middle of the road. He looks at the car and goes, "Wah!" and then attacks the car.
He knew you were in it.
He knew I was in it. That bird was trying to kill me. It was a crazy bird. And no, yeah, so essentially I didn't break, I haven't neither broken nor fractured this whole region, which is nice. Instead, I just blew out the big muscle group that goes over your shoulder and as well as all that connective tissue between those bones. So it's good times. It's sore and it's hurting. But thankfully I can still play games. So I can kind of just lean back and, you know, put my arm on my tongue and then just do that, which has been good.
So no more Beat Saber,
no Beat Saber for a little while, like, and no exercise as well, which sucks. So as many know, Manshake. Over this year, I've become I've been doing a weight loss journey with the Manshake, so much so that I'm now a Manshake ambassador. Been doing that for a little while. So this month they had a thing called the Man Challenge, which is a month long exercise campaign. So you do 10-minute workouts every day for 30 days, whatever. I lasted 7 fucking days. I'm like, no, because
So is this a dog ate my homework situation where you're like, sorry guys, I can't do it. I got swooped by a bird.
I thought about that too because like this is gonna look so bad, but no, because I really enjoyed it. Like my dad and I were doing it together. He would FaceTime in and we would put it up on our respective televisions, do it together, and then like James would get in on it too, and so I tried to do it, but it's just all because it's an all body workout. That's the intention. Like there's a lot of arm lifting and like jumping and like star jumps. And the second I do that, any sharp movement feels like someone's trying to rip my shoulder off. You know what I mean? So it's killing me. But thankfully it is better now than it was, say, on Wednesday, and today's Saturday. So I think probably within another week or so, it should be all right. Hey, Peckstar. There you go, Peckstar. Man Challenge, man represent. That's right. Pex is not fellow man shaker. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can just sort of come back in like the last week of it and have a good go again. If not, I might acquire them off the computer and then just do them later. And it's like, oh, fuck Raven right then. It just stabbed me. Yeah, so because as like the muscle decides to do things, it just punk, and it clunks all the time. Like I woke up this morning and went, that's not good noise. It makes it sound way more robotic and less painful than it was.
It's right. As someone whose shoulder pops out like all the time, like I'll wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, my shoulder's out. And I was like, click it back into place.
More like dislocated?
Yeah. No, it doesn't sit in properly. So if I can kind of like...
Oh, God! Oh, my God! I hope that picked up. That was fucking...
I can kind of like just click it back out and in.
Well, thankfully mine doesn't do that. Mine just does that little like pop, like things are starting to go back where they should be. Not, lock back into place. Jesus, that was scary.
Yeah, it's good times.
But yeah, as I said, so I've been just kind of sitting down playing a bunch of games. But Max, like, I presume you've not injured yourself this week?
No, not at all.
Good to know.
No, it's been a pretty crazy week. I'm still at work, counting down my days till I've got leave coming up. So super keen for that. But other than that, just going through the motions. Same old. Go to work, go home, sleep, play games.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Good times.
But
so what have you been playing this week, my friend?
So, same as last week, Legends of Tsushima, Ghost of Tsushima Legends, has taken up a fair bit of my time, getting raid ready. So the raid launched.
The raid is tonight?
So raid launched at 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time this morning. So that was...
Shouldn't have pushed on that, yes.
That's been good fun. So I've been grinding for that to level up. I've also dove into... What else have I been playing this week? I played more Death Stranding, because that's still a fantastic game.
On PC?
On PC. You and I were lucky enough to get our hands on Watch Dogs Legion. So big thank you to Ubisoft Australia for that.
Yeah, jump into that. So Ubisoft Australia provided us the code for full disclosure. So Watch Dogs Legion, not Legions. It makes it sound like it's like big open wound. Watch Dogs Legion is the third in the Watch Dogs franchise. It is based in London, where the big gimmick, the big premise of this is that you can play as anyone. anyone. So previously, you had the main characters. You had Marcus, and then you had the guy,
Aiden Pierce.
Aiden Pierce. Oh, Marcus was the second one. Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like Marcus, the guy from the first one. Marcus from the second one. Aiden from the first one. Instead, you are just anyone.
Yeah.
Now, there are some keyish characters, but majority of the time they can die and swap out, and you can kind of do some stuff with them.
Yeah, so permadeath is a thing in this game. I would highly recommend playing on permadeath.
Yeah, I did
because you have almost infinite characters.
So we should, in sort of the premise of the reason anyone can be selected is that so you are still playing within DedSec, same company from the first and second game. However, DedSec has been perceived as a terrorist organization to a series of terrorist attacks across London where DedSec have been targeted. So you, as the last remaining DedSec operatives, are required to recruit people.
Yeah,
that's the word I wanted. Thank you. Recruit people.
Recollect people.
Yeah, recollect people. Recruit people to sort of bring it back up and fight the totalitarian sort of government that's going on.
It's funny. So it's similar in the first two games. You can scan people and it gives you background information. That's how you decide whether or not you want to recruit them. It's always funny when you get ex-DedSec operative and you're like, yeah, okay, come back.
Hey man, what's going on? Like, oh hey, I remember you.
Let's come back.
But what I also really like is when you scan someone that there's doesn't like DedSec. I'm like, all right, you're cool, man. I won't bother talking to you.
Well, when you first start, you get to pick your first operative out of 12 random people.
Here's 12 random peeps. Pick the one you want. They all have different skills.
So I picked this I would estimate middle-aged woman, office lady. And she's like, I've just bought a brand new sports car. It's super fast. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have a really nice fast car. Do not know how to get that car. At all.
A hold up. It's in your spin.
Okay, cool. No joke. I went through Google and controls. I'm like, I cannot work this out. Did I just pick the wrong person just for a car that I can't use? I'm like, can I just go to a phone booth and ring my garage and be like, can you bring me my car? I had a similar
problem. So the guy that I picked, who kind of looks like a dollar store Elton John, he's thinking he has a motorbike. I was like, a motorbike seems like a great thing because with the game you're gonna want to be able to move around, so it's important to have some good wheels. And then you had the same thought, and plus chat picked it for me, so there you go. I jumped, but I spent so long not knowing how to do it, and then it's like, hey, open the weapon mode to change your gun. I'm like, oh, that's my bike.
So I haven't got that. Yeah. I haven't used weapons at all because it seems like
everyone?
Yeah, because they don't pull out their guns if you don't pull out your gun, so you can you gotta just fight people.
So very similar to the second game where they are trying to go more of that peaceful pacifist route where you just punch fuckers out rather than shooting them, and even then the guns that we have are non-lethals.
Yeah.
So far.
Except in the tutorial mission where you're just rocking and
you're just shooting everyone in the face. In the opening mission you're just shooting dudes and wrecking them. So you've got just a lot of punching, a lot of electroshock sort of things, and
then you've got you can hack the world around you and set off EMP pulses and trip mines and stuff to distract enemies or non-violently or non-lethally, I should say, take them out.
Yeah, so at this stage, so I've probably put 4-5 hours into it.
I'm about
point.
2.5.
Yeah. This is still very early impressions, might we have. But yeah, so right now it is a lot of it's investigating the bombs, the attacks, to try to get some more information around what they were and how they were going, and then while also recruiting more people and sort of just opening up the world a little bit is where I'm at currently.
Yeah, so I've taken over the first borough. It's similar to a lot of Ubisoft titles.
Yeah,
the area is segmented off, and as you explore it, you can open everything up. I forgot how fun this game's driving system is.
Driving system sucks.
Because no. So okay, I like it in the fact that not necessarily the handling of the cars and you physically driving. I like the fact that if someone's in your way, you can hack their car and be like, okay, you're turning left now. And and they're just like, shh, and they peace out.
That part I do.
Or if you want to steal a car, there's no GTA style. They're just going to drive off because you just hack their car and be like, reverse please, and the car just comes back to you and you're like, okay, I'm getting in now.
That part I can't argue with. That part is amazing. When you're like, boop, and then just opens and cars start fucking going upwards and downwards and left and whatever. But yeah, the second that you try turn, there is no weight in these cars at all. So you go, and then you just start suddenly turning down this.
Well, I must admit, I've been pretty lazy in my driving. Auto cars exist in this world now.
Yeah.
So I just get in an auto car and it drives me to where I need to be.
Check Twitter and stuff.
Yeah. I just chill. If I don't have to focus on driving and steering, it means I can hack other cars more.
That's good. That's a good point, though. Eh?
So I can just crash everyone else's car instead of my own.
So, although granted we're still in early days, how are you finding are you connecting to the characters that you have? Obviously,
No.
2 hours, you're not going to get the whole lot.
So because you play as a random operative that you can change so easily and frequently, you don't really... There's no protagonist in the story that you play as. There's obviously the members of DedSec that you're working with to help recruit for them, but you yourself have very little agency because you're this essentially faceless person because you can be so many people.
Yeah, so...
Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of takes you out of that, I don't care if I die because there's like hundreds more of me to just go through.
Yeah, so similar to the way this makes me think, it makes me think of No Man's Sky as a weak comparison. Stay with me. Because all these characters are created presumably by algorithmic decisions, right? It's a big lot of RNG. Then yeah, I'm just like, whatever. And there's always more people. However, so like No Man's Sky, you're never really going to commit to a character in the same way that you would never commit to a planet because you're like, well, I'm just going to fuck off soon. Like, what's the benefit of me to hang out with this one particular person? Yeah. But then the other way is you may find a character you like, and you might start unloading money into them and tech into them and stuff. And next thing you know, you're committed to one character, and then you've got 12 others you just don't care about. So it's this weird sort of counterbalance, I think. I don't know how it goes a little bit later on, but right now I'm like, well, I have 6 people in my recruitment. I probably only really use like 2 of them. Yeah. And just I'm worried that like as time progresses, that may happen. But either way, we'll be spending some time with that more over the coming week. So we'll have more to say next week on Watch Dogs Legion. Additionally, I spent a bit of time this week as well with the latest in the Dark Pictures Anthology. There's Little Hope. It also came out this week, code provided to us by Bandai Namco Australia. This is, continuation in that anthology where you've got the narrator who's telling a story. It's that same choose your own adventure-esque title from Supermassive Games where you've got like one celebrity that you recognize and like 4 other people that you don't fucking know who they are, but you're like, hey, it's the guy from Maze Runner, or you go, hey, it's the guy from X-Men or Animorphs. Speaking of, I also finished Man of Medan this week, but I'll get to that. So Little Hope is set in a creepy town. You know, you're on a university college trip. You got your professor. There's the guy from Maze Runner, a woman, a jock-looking dude, some mature age student who's a cow the whole time, just like any real mature age student. So essentially, the road gets blocked. You have to take a side road. You have to drive through a town called Little Hope. Girl appears in the middle of the road, crashes the bus, driver fucks off, and you're like, you gotta survive the night. That's it. That's the premise. No major spoilers there. So it's Ghost Town. Yeah. But what I love about it is it's Ghost Town mixed with some Blair Witch imagery, sort of wrapped in witch trial stuff. Okay. And it's so Silent Hill. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't put too much time into it yet. I think I've watched the opening scene, so I've seen all that, and I've done maybe like 10 minutes after that.
Yeah. So I put about 3 hours in it as well. So I have streamed it, which allowed me to get sort of the first 3 hours. But yeah, no, it's great. Well, I think there are a lot of improvements in it compared to Man of Medan, which, as I said, I did also finish this week. I rolled credits, number 19 for the year, because I wanted to get that done before Little Hope. Yeah. Because like previously, I'd played it and I kind of got to a point where it's fucking boring, and then I never pushed forward. And it was right at that point where you get onto the tanker. I was like, I don't fucking care. So, but now that I've seen the game through, I'm like, okay, it was fine, whatever. But Little Hope, as the story, I am so much more invested in this. Yeah. Because as I said, this is the closest that I'm going to get to a Silent Hill game in 2020. because it's like even when you walk in, it's got the sign with the flickering light, and it's all foggy, and the fog is like determining where you can and can't go. And Silent Hill, especially the first one, is like the quintessential fog in a game town game. So like, you get all these vibes, and then so you're finding all these cool little creatures in the background, like you presume monsters and shit. So like there's that little bit, and like next thing you know, there might be some sort of like trapezoid head. It's not quite pyramid head because that's copyright, but you know, we'll just use another 3-dimensional shape. But no, like I'm feeling the shit out of it. I'm absolutely really enjoying it. One cool little feature is that the 5 characters that you are playing, they're having moments where they're essentially being transported back to 1692, like right during the witch trials.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're in these little, not quite premonitions, not quite visions. You know, where you're seeing all this. Oh no! Watch out for the dodecahedron head. He's vicious. So you get transported into these sort of like premonitions, visions of the past.
Yeah. Where
you can see shit happen, like witch trials and whatnot, and the individuals within there can see you, but not everyone can see you. So these people that are claiming to be witches can fucking see you. So all they're seeing is someone talk to nobody. Like, I'm pretty sure she's a witch. But on top of that, they're also doppelgangers. So people that you are seeing in the past are mirror reflections of the people that you're seeing, the people that you're playing. So there's a cool extra narrative there. I'm like, why do they look the same? Is this some sort of like reincarnation sort of shit? Is this like, you know, like a shared history? Or is it like, I don't know. I'm excited. And as of yet, I haven't killed anyone. So it's a big thumbs up. I ended up killing 2 people in Man of Medan. First one, totally by accident. Second one, I made him stab himself because he's had a rat in his chest. Like, oh, rats are gross. Oh, dead. Sorry. Nice. But mechanically, the game is better. There's a run button, which one of the worst effing things about Man of Medan is how everyone's like, oh, I'm so scared. And just dawdle.
Casually saunter
around this fucking boat. But now there's a slightly sprinter button, which is mad. Quick time events give you a little bit more of a heads up.
Yeah.
So rather than just being like, here it is, here's a quick time event, and you're like, oh shit, it gives you a little picture saying, hey, this person's trying to climb, and you know what that circle means. Quick time event. Yeah. One thing I've also learned this week: shoulder muscles very important in quick time events. I've gone and then it turns out I can no longer smash buttons with my busted shoulder. Yes. But yeah, so minor improvements. The game looks great. Still a lot of texture pop in. Very similar to Man of Medan. There are just moments where it's like, oh yeah, and then pops in whatever it wants around it. But most of all, it tends to look really good. You know, with HDR, it looks smick as shit. The colors are lovely. The character, I'm enjoying these characters a little more than Man of Medan. I don't know why. I never really connected with the characters in Medan.
Yeah, they seemed pretty bland. So I
think they're intentionally bland in order for you to alter their reactions and their responses as you choose. That way you can funnel.
Yeah, you kind of do want them to be essentially kind of semi-empty shells, so you can play them how you want to play them. So you're not like, well, this guy wouldn't do that because that's not in his character. But if they give you empty vessels to work with, it's like you can play them how you want to play them.
They still give you like, they're like, this is John. John's a dick, and you're like, well, I guess I can keep playing John as a dick, or I can make John compassionate. So there's a little bit of room.
Have some character growth.
Yeah, maybe you can do something cool, and that's nice, and I appreciate that, and because essentially, very similar to Watch Dogs with that algorithmic whatever, there are moments where you can tell the game is thinking about what decisions have been made prior to it, so that when it's putting together a cutscene, it's just picking from a list, because tone will change in a cutscene. The tone will change. The sentence structure will change. The cadence in that sentence structure will change. So it actually makes it really jarring. So you can feel that real cut. You're like, there's a cut.
Yeah.
You know, so like there is some like not quite as Robotronic performances as Man of Medan. Like there's a little bit more here, a little bit more nuance. But it is still like that same sort of feel.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they've been in the booth like, right, you need to answer these 6 different responses, and they go, yep. And there's no, because it's near impossible to record every single possible pathway,
Yeah.
it does have that choppy feel sometimes, but sometimes it feels really good. So when it does decide to like have a proper controlled narrative, it runs really, really well. So I will have that finished by next week, because the second I'm done here, I'm probably gonna play it tomorrow.
Nice.
Because like, I want to see it, get the spooks. It's Halloween today, so I'm like, yeah. And then I also want to see the little trailer at the end to see like what they believe the next game will be. Because you know there's 4 of them, and what, 2 deep before.
It's in the news.
Oh, you got the name of it? Yeah.
And release window.
Nice. Because even if we look at as just finishing Man of Medan, it does give a little teaser at the end. They're like the character models, some of them are completely different. Like the old mature student who's a bum the whole time looks completely different.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and this game looks really cool. As I said, it's like $40 on the PSN. Total steal for $40. Absolute steal.
What else?
Load times are right.
Load times are right. What else have you been playing?
That's about it. Oh, I've been playing more of Sakuna, as Padge decides to. There's 8 of them, says Padge. God damn.
I've also been playing Sakuna.
Have you been playing Sakuna?
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm pronouncing the Aussie way of Sakuna.
Apparently, it's the only game I can't platform in.
Well, and obviously we can't review it, but we can talk some preview thoughts, which we have. What's some of your preview thoughts on it?
It's really fun. Similar to you when you said, I think it was last week, you're like, you don't generally like those anime styled graphics of games. This looks gorgeous.
It's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah. And I super can't platform for shit in this game.
Yeah, because I think it's a simplified platform. It's not quite as like fancy and like fine in detail.
Are you playing with the thumbstick, or are you using the D-pad for it?
Thumbstick.
Okay,
I think.
Okay, I'm playing with the D-pad, so I might maybe I need to just shift it up.
I think you should, because when it comes to using your scarf as like I
cannot do that at all.
Yeah, you need the thumbstick for that, because it does in all 8 directions.
That might help.
So if you're not using the thumbstick, you're like, huh! Oh, I need to go there. That's probably your shortcoming. But I've done it for a while. I've done like 2 rounds of the rice and stuff like that. I don't know how much I can talk into, but there seems to be quite a bit of length in this game, which I'm enjoying. Nowhere near finishing. Review is still a little while away, but we'll 100% be talking about it, because the game is very, very pretty. Thoroughly enjoying it. And even the weebiness is not enough to detract me at this point, because I get to grow rice and it feels good. But anyway, that's enough about what we've been playing. Let's get into the section called Inform the Players. We tell you what happened this week in PlayStation.
Let's start with some more PS5 news, Ryan, since we're so close.
Dude, we are less than 2 weeks. It's fucking insane. And add to last week, man. So, as we talked about last week, they're in the wild. They're out there. There's PS5s. Thankfully, there's PS4s everywhere. There's PS5s everywhere in America.
Embargoed
now
up the
in
butthole.
Australia. So I know there's a couple of the big people in Australia have one. So we know like the likes of Skill Up and the likes of Press Start. Some of the big media influencer spaces here, which is awesome, because having them available in the US, it's not quite real. But now that I'm aware of people in like my country, I'm like, oh my god, it's so real because it's so close.
Well,
I'm excited.
Right.
Very excited.
Let's talk some accessibility. So, as well as bringing back features already available on the PlayStation 4, the PS5 system will empower those who are blind with the option to hear on-screen text spoken aloud. Meanwhile, those who are deaf or hard of hearing, they can type in their messages and have them read aloud to members of the party. All of this encompasses the new feature named Screen Reader, with multiple languages supported. The PS5 will also support color correction, which allows users to tweak and edit their colors. Sony then goes on to confirm that the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers of the DualSense controller can be turned off entirely if you wish. Quote, PS5 will also include improved audio enhancements to provide players with better spatial awareness.
That's mad. See, for those who may not know, for a good while there, I did a bit of volunteer work and some paid work with Vision Australia. So when it comes to visual impairment software, I've sort of seen a bit of it. There's a program they used to use back then called JAWS, and the whole idea is we'll just read out what was on your screen. Yeah. And a lot of these guys and girls are so proficient at it, they're just fucking. What did that say? And they're like, oh, whatever was on the screen. So having that here is amazing, because as far as I know, it's not readily available in current gen. Mint. And the second about the dictation, that's brilliant. So with some of my clientele, they are for whatever reason, they are a little bit harder on. They're not quite as good as or proficient as at reading, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting there, but this helps. Because if they may not know how to spell the word, so they would just avoid.
Yeah, so we also
messaging.
We also got the voice to text messaging as well from the reveal of the UI a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, so whether it be they have difficulty reading or they have difficulty typing, this is going to allow them to feel comfortable and more confident in the games that they are playing. So rather than having to rely on visual cues or what you think the word might be. Some of my clients were able to actually straight up know it, and then in turn learn those words.
Yeah,
and like, because that's the other thing people kind of think is like, oh, this no one really considers this stuff, but like for many of them, they've just not been given the right sort of education to match what their needs are. So when you're learning, because you will learn words and you will learn how to pronounce them, how to read them, all that sort of shit in a game space. Think about how many kids learn language through YouTube or whatever because it's fun for them. It doesn't feel like work. So as they're sitting there playing whatever game, they want to know what those words are. They want to know what's being said. So it's actually an incredible learning tool, and it's one of those best tools that like maybe in time they're not going to need it.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah.
Like really, really does.
Especially coming off the bat of like, look at Naughty Dog with Last of Us 2 and all the accessibility options that game had. It's really good to see that they're making a conscious effort to make sure that as many people can use their system as possible.
Yeah, not on a game-by-game basis, baked in.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The PlayStation Plus collection has received some additions this week.
Oh, yeah?
So in addition to all the 20-odd games that they're providing, the 2 new games that have been added to the list is Crash Insane Trilogy and Black Ops 3, the Zombies Chronicle Edition. So that comes with all the Zombies map packs packed in.
And I believe Final Fantasy also got bumped up to Royal.
So Final Fantasy 15, which was previously announced, has been upgraded to its Royal Edition. So it will come with all the character DLC. So the 3 main characters that go on the road trip with you. The only piece of DLC that will not be included is the latest episode Arden, which will need to be purchased separately.
Okay.
So I think you get 4 of the 5 DLCs for free. Pretty cool.
It's pretty bad, actually. So I've got a friend of mine who never jumped on the 15. It's because I'm a dingus. So the
15. Yeah.
Because I don't care about Final Fantasy. But yeah, I got a friend of mine he didn't have a PS4.
Yeah.
And he's just buying a PS5. So I keep getting messages from me like, hey, what are some of the things they do?
Like literally everything on the PlayStation Plus collection. Just like there's 20 games go.
He's like, should I get PS Plus? I'm like, yes, you should. Like if you want to be able to play a bunch of games you hadn't played, get PS Plus. You get the PS Plus collection. You're going to play God of War. You're going to play all these brilliant 10-pole games.
I mean, you should buy a PlayStation Plus because you get bug snacks on release.
Yeah, fuck that. But all right, I'm going to side note. I'm going to address bug snacks. I've mentioned this on Twitter. I'm fully aware that I may have to like make a apology. I may have to make hi everyone, bug snacks isn't that bad. I may have to make that statement come launch. You know what I mean? Like, it could happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm aware of this. Like, right now I'm shitting on it. And I will continue to shit on it. But then
until proven otherwise.
Until proven otherwise.
I hope you hate it, and I hope your kid loves it. Dude. And he just wants to constantly play it. And you're just going to be, like, tormented.
I am so worried that James is going to love it. I'm like... Because they're running a bullshit. Like, and he likes that stuff.
Oh. The biggest news, we finally know how we're going to get our camera adapters for the PS5 run.
Yeah, the dongaroo.
So you can head over to the Sony support page. The links are in the wild. They are a universal link, so no matter where you click, it'll send you to your region. Your region. And you fill in the form. It'll ask you to find the little black pass-through box. You get the serial number. You type it in. You give them your address, and they will send you an email. I got my confirmation email this morning saying, excellent, you're on the list. We'll let you know. We'll be in contact and let you know how everything's going with shipping and whatnot.
Now, because of demand on it, you may have to try re-enter your serial number a couple of times because it might do like a little verification check. Go, nah. And then if you give it another go, oh yeah, no, it's fine the whole time.
Yeah, mine worked first try.
Same.
But the lovely folks over at Media Molecule have told their fans that if you play Dreams with the Move controllers, to contact Sony support and they will hook you up with a ticket to get an adapter, because if you only own the Move, the only way to get them at the moment is if you own a PSVR system. But if you use the Move controllers, you're going to need to use that old camera. And Media Molecule have said that Sony will hook you up with a custom ticket to order it.
That's mad. All 12 people that are doing that, really, really stoked. Bit more of PS5 news, though, in regards to accessories. So we've come to learn this week that here in Australia, there is a delay on some accessories. So the likes of the dual charging station, the Pulse headset, and... No, because the remote is good and the camera's good. I think it might be those two then. I think there was a third. Either way, they're now not shipping until about the 10th of December.
Early December, yeah.
So if anyone that does have that pre-ordered, you won't be able to pick it up till... So they've essentially said that it was, shipping issues, which is really bizarre, because if we look over at the US right now, there is literally people with DualShocks.
They're in stores already, yeah.
You can just go buy one. And here we are being like, well, we don't have it at all. I guess the problem is living on an island. But...
technically, everyone lives on an island.
Yeah, technically, yeah. That's true. But, it's just that's...
They're just not manufactured here.
Yeah, that's that hurdle. So manufacturers, we have to wait for it to get here. Because, I'd be love to be fucking around with my DualShock right now. DualShock, my DualSense. That's where I would need tissues in this room if I've got my DualSense here. That's what I'm excited for. Even though I'm not going to buy the headset, I'm like, Bill... kind of want the headset. And then Puck goes, they're not manufactured here either. That's true. Manufactured in China, which is bizarre because China is way closer to here than it is to the US. So why don't they ship some here, mate? All right?
Well, speaking of delays and accessories, let's talk about some other delays that we were told about this week. Let's kick things off with Destruction All-Stars. So Destruction All-Stars has been moved from its place as a launch title back into Feb of 2021.
And no one noticed.
According to Sony, the decision is intended to give the combustive racer the best possible chance of roping in players on day one. And while the company acknowledges the move will disappoint some fans,
Someone.
But instead of, but here's the caveat: it will launch on PlateStation Plus for its first 2 months.
See, that makes total sense. That's a way.
So akin to that of Rocket League and Fall Guys.
Way better decision, because the problem that this game was facing is that it was like $70. No one's paying that.
I'm still super keen on it. I'm super stoked that it's coming out for free now.
Well, because it was $80-$90 Australian, whatever it was, and it's like, ew, I don't want to pay that. And the worst part is this game, with this being this multiplayer setup, it's reliant on people being on there. So by making it free for 2 months, you're doing the same thing as Fallout Guys. That's right, Fall Guys. Same thing as Rocket League. Those servers are going to be fucking packed on day one.
Yeah. Hope they don't. I hope they learn from everyone else, and they have some servers ready to go.
So Padge claims that the same disappointed person for Destruction All Stars may in fact be the same person that was bummed out about Dreams in general. Because
this morning,
no one talks about Dreams at all.
I think it was earlier this morning, some Ubisoft titles have now been delayed and pushed.
Yeah.
So as part of its second quarter earnings call earlier today, Ubisoft...
Yesterday,
it would have been yesterday for us, so this is of time of recording. So Ubisoft has delayed a number of its upcoming PlayStation 5 titles due to the continued impact of COVID-19. Far Cry 6, originally scheduled to launch in February, will now release between April and September next year. That is a huge window of opportunity.
They just said in this fiscal year.
Yeah.
This quarter, yeah.
So the same also applies for Rainbow Six Quarantine, which has never had a firm release date up until now. Its vague launch window.
See, what's real bizarre is I saw
and they also mentioned that Skull and Bones is still cracking on. So
I'm sure it is. So with Far Cry, because I forgot that it had a release date. I just thought it was ambiguous.
No, it had a solid release date.
It's been from its February 10 release date. I'm like, it was coming out in February?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a bummer. But, there's enough Ubisoft games from now and then. It's cool.
And there's enough Ubi titles coming out launch day.
Yeah. It can wait. I love Far Cry. I'm really excited for Far Cry 6, especially with old Gustavo Fring as the main big bad. But I think it's a situation of, I take that as, I understand.
Yeah.
It's fine. And like, once again, they've given us so much notice that I'm probably going to forget.
I mean, let's face it, you didn't even know that it had a release date. So
exactly.
it's
What would have happened? I would have got an email in February and I'd been like, oh, fuck yeah. I totally forgot about you. But they've also given us like, at least February for 6 months, not even 6 months, like 4 months notice, which is mad. It's better than 2 weeks. Let's do some co-op Big Daddy bets. And that's right, Paz, you and me will Far Cry multiply that bad boy.
And lastly, Cyberpunk 2077. After going gold a few weeks ago, we found out this week that unfortunately Cyberpunk will not make its November 19th release date. The game has been pushed back 21 days to December 10th. And the culprit for the delay? Apparently it's current gen consoles.
Yeah.
Apparently it's the PS4.
Yeah.
Actually. So, speaking to investors after the delay was announced, joint CEO of CD Projekt Red, Adam Kaczynski, said, quote, "The game is ready for PC. It runs great on the next-gen consoles and could be shipped on the scheduled date for those platforms. However, even though the game has been certified on the current gens by both Sony and Microsoft, some very final optimization processes for such a massive and complex game are require a bit of additional time." Also speaking during the CD Projekt Red latest call with shareholders, Adam Kaczynski also stated, quote, "We feel maybe not comfortable, but confident in the new release date." Not really the kind of comment you want to hear.
No, and I'm just going to put it out there as well. As you mentioned, this game went gold about X amount of weeks ago, right? This is now its 4th release date. This completely shits in the face of what going gold means.
Yeah, so I saw some rumors around the internet that people were like, oh, it got delayed because it didn't actually make its final certification.
Do we have confirmation that it didn't?
Yes, it has been properly certified.
Yeah,
It's ready
so
to go.
like the idea of gold certification means it is in a playable state and it works, and then there should be no issues.
Yeah,
like no majors, no game breaking issues. That's what certification should do.
Yeah.
So then, how did this get certified, or did they just say, "Hey, it's gold for PC and next gen"? Yeah.
I think the issue is, and I think a lot of people have said it right. It's to the point where they want to release a perfect game, and they're like, there's still too many bugs. So, although you can play it from start to finish, and you can see the start, you can see all the things in between, you can get to the end, you finish it, it's playable.
Then don't get it certified.
It's still, yeah.
Like that, like the going gold certification used to be, it is good. There may be a day one patch, but this fuck is good. And like right now, they're essentially saying if you don't have the internet where you can't download an update, this game's fucked.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time that I can ever recall of a game being, delayed after going certified. This is not the first time. Like I'm certainly not the one that's made this claim. This is a claim that came from Jim Sterling. It's like very similar to the terms like beta and alpha and like all these different terms that the video game industry has fucking destroyed over time.
Yeah.
Because previously in alpha, the game shouldn't be seen by anyone. Like, that's still in construction phase.
Yeah.
So when you say, oh, it's multiplayer alpha, no, it isn't. It's the demo. You're essentially wanting free game testers. Pay your game testers. It's not fucking hard.
Yeah.
And right now, they are spitting in the face of one of the only redeeming terms in the space. When something says gold, you could have faith that it was going to get to this point, right? Now, to add to what Peckstar has mentioned in the chat here, he said, who do I send my death threats to? He's joking, of course. But jokes that wankers that did that need to be named and shamed. Damn right. Because these are people that are going out here and providing death threats to these companies. A, fucking idiots. And two, what are you doing? If you love this game so much, why are you doing this shit?
Yeah, coming off the back of all the hate that Last of Us 2 got, and it's just... people are garbage sometimes when it comes to
as a collective.
They seem so entitled that they feel that they deserve something when they want it, and like I'm super hyped for this game. Like for the past 5 weeks, when if you watch the show live, you see me sitting on my Cyberpunk chair ready to go. If it takes longer, it takes longer. Quite frankly, I'm kind of glad it's been delayed again. There is so much stuff to play at launch. I don't have time to play everything.
Yeah.
Like, space it out. That's fine. Like, Cyberpunk's going to be huge.
See, I agree with that. And, like, sure, like, put it when you need to do it. But there's also that situation of my issue with here is this seems to be hiding the narrative. I'm like, well, how fucked is this game?
Yeah, and then obviously,
Because my argument for this longest time has been this game is I wouldn't say it's broken, but it's obviously not doing well. Now I understand the issue with the current gen because at some point they've obviously made that agreement to transition to next gen, but they didn't want to shit on everyone that doesn't have next gen, so they're trying to do that. Now since no one really considers the Xbox One or even the Xbox One S anymore, it's the One X and the PS4 Pro or the PS4, I guess. So it's a situation of like, oh, well, the hurdle is we can't get it to run on the PS4 or the Xbox One S. You know what I mean? Like, and the PS4 right now is technically the weakest console on the market.
yeah.
So like, in order to spec it down to the regular PS4, yeah, I understand that hurdle. It's the same hurdle that everyone had trying to spec to the original Xbox One.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, cool. But like then,
Because that's what they said. Like
some of the actions that CD Projekt Red are taking are really hypocritical to their statements around being super client focused, super client facing, and we're doing it for you and the good of you. And they say that, but their actions are so polar opposite to that in some ways.
Yeah, because obviously a lot of other stuff came out, like the news of the developers didn't know their game was getting delayed until the same time that it was released to the public. Now, they were saying that was due to Polish law and basically, essentially stock manipulation because it's a publicly traded company. They do profit sharing in the company, and if you know your game's getting delayed, your shares are going to tank.
Yep.
So they had to keep it quiet. So that's really shitty on a development team to know that they're...
And like once this... To add to that, this is the same discussion when we had X-Men Week. It was like, hey, they're doing crunch the last 4 weeks. I'm like, all right, cool. They're going to do 6-day weeks. That's one extra day of work a week. Cool. No worries. That suddenly bumped up a whole lot. And as of right now, no one's really come out and said how many extra hours they're doing.
Well, there was reports that someone had done a 100-hour work week.
That's impossible.
Which seems crazy to me because that's 14 hours a day over 7 days
a week.
Yeah.
So that's impossible. You mustn't leave. It is physically impossible to do something at 100 hours.
And then there's been news stories today of Adam Kaczynski saying, making a statement to the developer team saying, "I'm sorry that I downplayed the crunch on our investors call." Like, you know,
well, and like if anything, this makes me think the reason that they quote unquote went gold, because I say quote unquote because they clearly fucking did but didn't. Was for that. Like, they knew they were going to eat shit if they delayed the game. So, like, go gold, share spiked. And so that way, when they delayed again and it drops, it evens out. It's dirty. And, like, it's once again, it just it's them essentially doing one thing while the back's turned.
I mean, I can't imagine they're essentially, testing it for nine different versions?
Yeah.
And, like, that can't be easy.
Everyone's doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, they're not some special studio that isn't doing that.
Yeah.
Every game, like Valhalla, which comes out in 2 weeks, doing the same thing. You know what I mean? They're nothing special.
Yeah, of course.
It's just that, like, I understand that they would have that pressure on them to release a very specific, perfect kind of game because they are like it's that they're not even a sophomore album, I guess, because they've had a lot of albums, but it's that. Games. It's the same idea, like, when you make that perfect thing, or like example, I use for music. I don't know. I'll use Green Day. Right? Green Day had a great run with American Idiot. Everyone loved American Idiot. That was fucking brilliant. Then they're like, these 21st Century Breakdown. Everyone's like, ooh, it's like quite as good as American Idiot, is it?
I mean, to be fair, none of their new stuff is as good as
that's my point. So the problem is, like, with Witcher 3 being so heavily praised and considered a game of this generation or a game of the decade. There's pressure on them to release it because they'd be like, it's not quite as good as Witcher 3 now, is it? And, like, that's what they're trying to avoid. And that self-imposed pressure is dangerous. And we're seeing that, within this culture and within the management of this team.
Yeah.
Of this company, sorry. I've had to change my, like, granted, who gives a fuck? Some rando on the internet. But, like, I've had to change my stance on the crunch and all that, on all that, right? Like, it's just, I can't. Previously, I was like, it's only a couple of days. Crunch ain't that bad. It's a fucking 3 more days of work. Ooh, and then you get a holiday for a bunch. If anything, like, this seems like a weird... I had to be like, nah, I can't. And even then, like, is does this mean that the next gen versions of the games are releasing the same day now? Everyone's
because
on
you know
November?
they
December?
announced a few weeks ago that you know the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series upgrades were coming
later.
out next year. You know,
And if they're like, oh, it runs on next gen and it runs on PC, then we better fucking get it on next gen in this day in December. You know. What have we got in the chat? Max put it as there's a lot of entitled people from Blair. Pexter also adds they could just say fuck it, we won't release it now because of these people unless they make it a video that's saying sorry for being a dickhead. That would be mad. I would actually be mad if they put that out there. Park also adds, now it makes me go back to worrying I can't play the game on PC since I have a lower end card on their preferred setup. Because they also announced their what their specs are for the PC. It was fucking brutal. I can run it.
It's recommended a solid state drive to install on, so that's like it's got me out.
Yeah. And I've got a GTX 970.
I'm rocking a 1070 still, so I'm okay. I'm on the low end. I'm running that bad boy on like medium. But like
mine will just like it'll just heat. Nothing. It'll be all like PS1 level shit. It'll be horrible. Yeah, in short, I'm still like I'm still okay, ready for the game. But
it's now out of Game of the Year contention. It's getting the Super Smash Bros. Treatment. It is eligible next year.
Yeah, it won't get it next year now.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Not if the likes of Horizon, God of War, all those things that are slated for next year, it's going to have a real tough time. Yeah. Although speaking of games that are still coming on their due date, Demon's Souls Remastered. Oh, we got so much information about Demon's Souls this week.
Are you just going to gush for about 10 minutes?
Yeah, right, probably. Cool. So, creative director Gavin Moore has shared some information about Bluepoint's upcoming release. Quote, people want to share their experiences, the tragedies of, oh my god, I've died again, or your trials as you succeed with your friends. There are some other modes in there as well that I will talk about, and I will let the fans find out for themselves, but we definitely want to see what people are creating using the new photo mode. Woo! So a neat touch similar to that of, I believe Ghost of Tsushima did it. Any filter that works on your photo mode can be played in gameplay. So you can keep it out of photo mode. One of these filters has been inspired by the original PlayStation 3 game. Quote, if you like the starkness and despair of the original version, then we have a bunch of filters that you can choose from and play the game that way.
Just load polys in it.
Yeah. There's also a black and white filter, among others, that the developer is keeping secret for now. However, Moore insists that people stick with the default to begin with. Quote, if the fans could just play the game the way that we made it, then I would ask they would do that, but I'd be very grateful though. After they play the game the first time, please play it with whatever filters you want. Just play it the way we built it the first time.
Like, hey, there's all these options, but we worked really hard on this. So, heads up, can you like not fuck with it? Thanks, man.
In addition to photo mode, many new additions are being implemented. Chief among the new content is what they're calling the Fractured World. Now, Fractured World is a game mode that will allow you to play the entire game in a mirrored state.
Sounds horrible. I can maybe do it the first time.
I'm super keen for it because it's almost going to be like playing the game for the first time again because everything's going to be horizontally flipped. Yeah. So I'm going to have to remember where everything is and be like, okay, so the guy's going to pop out from my left behind the door and then I'm going to get stabbed in the back because he's going to be on my right. So keen. Moore also goes into more detail with an interview in Game Informer. Fractured World is actually the most challenging experience I've ever had with Demon's Souls, he says, explaining that flipping the map horizontally means you will have to relearn where everything is. It's almost like playing it for the first time.
That's what you said.
Yeah. So I watched earlier this week. IGN had a new gameplay trailer up. It's about 6 minutes. Man, the game looks so good. I am so excited for this game. They've announced that. So in the original game, there's basically these headstone-looking things which dictate which world you're going to be playing in, and there was always this broken fifth one that never got used, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna get to it." No, unfortunately not. But there are new bosses, new locations, and heaps of new stuff to play around with. So I'm super looking forward to playing this. Hopefully on a solid frame rate because the original PS3 version was rough.
Yeah, I remember I remember hearing that.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm willing to check. I'm willing to check this out.
And like Blue Point have done some amazing work
Yeah.
like recently, so I have all the faith in the world that this will be fantastic.
Having not played Demon's Souls on PS3, I don't know what my expectations are because I'm like, we'll see where it goes. But I really enjoyed Bloodborne.
Yeah.
As I said, Blue Point are at a place where they've put enough good shit out there that I'm like, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you. Which is good for me. Like I expect, hopefully we'll be both playing it day one.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely.
And then we'll be like that, and I'll be like that game was mad, and I lucky that I bought 2 DualSense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause
I've also bought 2 DualSenses just in case.
Yeah, in case I pummel one out a window.
Yeah. QUICKBITS rhyme.
Oh yeah.
So because I gushed about Demon's Souls for so long, I decided to put Final Fantasy 16 using the QUICKBITS.
Thanks.
Their teaser site is now live. There's a ton of information on the upcoming title. There is also a PlateStation blog post. It just basically outlines some of the main characters that you'll see and the land in which this game takes place. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Bit of artwork, stuff like that. Awesome. In its latest financial report, Sony has 45.9 million PlayStation Plus subscribers currently.
Oh, damn, that's just under half.
PS4
owners, that is.
PS4 sales currently sitting at 113.6 million units.
Very,
sold.
very nice.
Yes. Immortals Fenyx Rising has gone gold ahead of its December 3rd release date.
Has it though? That means, see, now you got to question that shit.
The Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes trailer is out. It is the next title in the series. No platforms have been announced for it, but it is due in 2021.
Yeah, man.
I would assume that they would make the transition to PlayStation 5, or at least give it a little boost mode type thing.
Like that. I don't know. I was going to wait till I finish this one, but I'm curious to see what the next theme is.
A lot of PlayStation titles have recently received updates, the likes of Last of Us and Last of Us Remastered, and God of War, that have vastly improved their loading times. I believe the Last of Us one's sitting at like 25 gig.
Yeah, so it appears that the Sony and their first parties have been working on this new compression system, which is helping games sort of compress in a way that they can load faster. So we saw with an update to The Last of Us, that opening load time used to be 1:30. Now it's like 20 seconds, 13 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, like super quick. Then on top of that, Until Dawn is on there as well. Apparently the load times are non-existent.
Oh, wow.
And then God of War has seen a reduction as well, which is great. So it's also believed that this may be what was implemented in Ghost of Tsushima to allow it to be so seamlessly fast.
Yeah. Also, according to a blog post published this morning from Ubisoft, these 9 titles will not work on your PlayStation 5. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy Pack. So that includes Chronicles India, China, and Russia. The family fun pack game Risk will not work. Apparently Monopoly and Boggle is still fun.
Yeah.
Star Trek Bridge Crew will not work. Yes. Werewolves Within and Space Junkies all will not work on your PlayStation 5.
See, what's interesting me here is Werewolves Within, Star Trek Bridge Crew, and now Robinson the Journey. These are 3 VR games released around about the same time. Now, I understand with Bridge Crew and Werewolves Within, they are reliant on you playing with a couple of other people. So maybe they're like, oh no, the game's not doing well. We're not gonna cancel the game. We're just not bringing it to next gen. But there's a thread here because Robinson the Journey is a single player game. So maybe there's just like, we're not going to update it. Maybe there's some sort of updating that's required that they're not willing to support. And maybe that's the same with Assassin's Creed. Like, what is the reason? Like, why are they not willing to presumably put a little bit of work into it? Or is there something like that's what we need to know. We need to know if it's a mix of Ubisoft saying we won't do it or they can't do it. I think that's the difference.
Oh, really?
Paul has already had the Ubi post has already been taken down and they've cited inaccuracies. Sony probably screamed at them, which
interesting.
Risk is coming back. Woo! The list stands minus Risk.
And lastly...
Second lastly.
Oh, you got something? Cool. Mm-hmm. According to the Uncharted movie Twitter feed, the movie's wrapped.
What, they filmed for like 45 minutes? I saw photos last week.
So, in a tweet, Sic Parvis Magna, that's a wrap on Uncharted movie. So, did they finish it, or is it like dead now? Like, I'm confused.
No, it just stopped. Like, fuck it, we're done.
They got that one shot of Tom Holland. They're good.
Yeah. So I've got two, actually. I think two things we haven't really touched upon. One of them is, rumor mill, is that Sony are looking into, they have been creating a Malaysian studio.
Okay.
And they've sort of been working on something, what the rumor mill is a big title down there. So I've heard that it's rumored to be the next Uncharted, but I also heard that San Diego were doing that. So I don't know where the speculation is on that, but it looks as if there is a new studio in the East Asias that's doing something. I don't know what it is, but doing something, which is cool. And then Tom flew to Atlanta to film Spider-Man 3. So fuck, it makes sense. He's doing a whole lot right now. It's very busy. Who knows when another breakout's going to happen? So he's just getting all the work done while he can. And finally, we reported on this last week, as did fucking everybody. There's a website called PlateStation 5. So they're a company that were essentially making replacement color panels for your PS5. That they have appeared to have been taken down due to intellectual property rights. They have also up and changed their website about 4 or 5 times, which can either mean two things. Either A, they are a scam and they've been a scam this whole time, or 2, they're just trying to dodge those intellectual property rights. So I know that many people have put down orders and they've all since been refunded. So I guess if it was a scam, they probably wouldn't refund you. So maybe they just didn't realize they'd get such a rub on like IGN and Kotaku and GameSpot and whatever. Everyone's like, oh my god, check this out. Like, please fucking stop it. So then, Sony was like, hey, we've been drawing attention to you. Can you stop? Like, which is a shame, because I totally emailed them last week being like, hey man, we'd love to review your shit. I never heard back. You know why? Because the website doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. It's a bummer. Anyway, there must be other ways to get coloured side panels. Maybe we have to keep talking to Ethan, I think. It's going to have to happen. But anyways, ow. I just breathed in my own thing. All right. Can you talk for yourself? Just got to drink some water.
Let's talk some games that
are
hopefully coming out. With all the delays.
Can you check the
it's not
blog?
There.
And the top 10 best-selling games too.
Oh yeah. Twitter. I didn't put that in the news. Yeah, the PlayStation blog, I believe, has just like left the drop.
Well, I mean, it's just gone. They're just giving it up.
I think the last post is still
Speed Racer, Pod Racer,
whatever. Some form of Star Wars racing game.
Right. Keep scrolling. What?
Apparently, God of War isn't Game of the Generation.
Yeah, according to Press Start, makes sense. I'd agree with that. It's Game of the Generation, Game of the Decade.
Can you read from that far?
Maybe my favorite game of all time. Here is the top 10 best-selling PS4 games for the week ending 25th of October 2020. Number 10, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Number 9, Days Gone? Must be on sale.
Yeah, it's Halloween sale.
Oh, yeah. Number 8, UFC 4. Number 7, Star Wars Squadrons. Oh, do you play it in VR yet?
No, I still haven't had a chance.
Oh, you got to play it this week, man. Number 6, NBA 2K21. Number 5, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 3, Ghost of Tsushima. Still smashing it. Number 2, Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time. And unsurprisingly, number 1, EA Sports FIFA 21. Avengers finally kicked off the top 10, which I presume means no one is playing it again.
Probably now that everyone knows that it's been delayed for next gen.
Yeah, everyone's kind of
everyone's probably going to wait. Might come back in when it launches. Relaunches.
No, I doubt it. Not feeling very confident. No surprising. We'll see FIFA in there. Wait, is Call of Duty in there? No. That's the first time since release that Call of Duty isn't in there. I guess everyone's just banking out for Black Ops next 2 weeks. Wow, that makes sense. Though, why would anyone buy it now? Oh, anyway, this is a section we call "Coming to the Players." We tell you what games are coming this week on your PlayStation device. This maybe. Oh no, we've got 2 more. Maybe next week. No, next week would be the last week that we.
There'll be a half week where there'll be PS4,
like PS4 and PS5. It's gonna be a weird week.
First up, we have Chicken Police PS4 November 5.
What?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I really wish I had a little more. We have Dirt 5 coming November 6th for current gen.
That's my birthday!
For current gen, November 10th for next.
That's right. November 6th, my birthday. Just in case you didn't want to know. Birthday.
We have Paw Patrol The Mighty Pups Saves Adventure Bay coming November 6th.
See, the worst thing about that is that's, once again, as I said, it's my birthday. But I'll be getting it for my kids. So it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Here you go, James. Here's Paw Patrol. And we're going to play it together. It's going to be amazing.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered coming November 6th for current gen and November 13th for next.
Oh.
Actually, I think it's just Switch for November 13th. I think everyone else gets it early.
Stand out there is Paw Patrol. Mighty Pups Save Adventure Bay.
Chicken, please.
It's going to be. It's going to not look very good. Very similar to Paw Patrol on a roll, but I don't care. My son had an absolute blast. We played that 2 years ago together. He's now noticeably older.
He's like 2 years older now.
He's like 2 years older or something. So he knows how to play games now. He'll be able to play that by himself. He and I can sit here. We'll stream it because we had so much fun doing it 2 years ago. Because back then he didn't know who they were. They were just doggies. Like doggies and no one, and he didn't know all the words. But now he knows the characters, what they do, and how they work. And it's going to be. It's totally a biased dad-based decision. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna love this game. I'm gonna love sharing it with him. It's gonna be so good. Pick the fuck out of that game. Hope it gets next gen upgrade.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm still baffled from the Nintendo news earlier this week that apparently they got Control running on Switch via the cloud.
Yeah, I don't believe you. But apparently the new Story of Seasons coming next year. Yep. Nintendo news. Mm-hmm. Woo! Get excited.
You and your farming games, man. Like, if there's any remotely farming portion of a game, except for loot farming, you won't.
Actual farming.
I
would never do actual farming because I'm not.
And look what happens when he goes outside.
Yeah, birds. I'm gonna go on a farm. You shitting me? No, farming games are my shit. I love them so much. Well, thank you very much, Max, for coming in.
It's been so good.
It's been awesome. So the whole energy is different. Yeah. It's been really, really good. Hope you have all enjoyed having us back in studio. As we said, we'll be back here next week. Ideally, the week after, so we can actually have PS5s in front of us. But I understand Max's.
No, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Might be the only time I take away. Well, everyone. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials, Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all the links in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live, where you can get in the chat and become part of the show. We love having you guys and girls and however you see yourself in the chat chatting to us. It's awesome. I love it. It makes the show amazing. If you want to support the show, you can in other ways. You can tell your friends, you can tell your family about this PlayStation podcast. That, as Tad said before, this is a call to arms. We are right ahead of PS5 now. We should be the best time for a PlayStation pod. Please get out there, spread the love. Tell them about the show with the slogan that's copyrighted for a generation that's just about to end. All right? It's cool. Like I said, we love doing this show anyway, and we would do it to no one. I would 100% still do it. But it's nice to have people that watch. So please, if you'd love to, if you like what we do, please share it around. It's much appreciated. If you are listening to us on podcast services, if you can, give us a 5-star rating and a written review. That's your iTunes. That's your Spotify. As I said, we're now testing out SoundCloud as well, so you can probably see us there. I haven't gone to check the numbers yet. It's probably like 6. Might not even be worth my time. But if you are watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment that does come on our videos. Because I'm always there. And of course, if you want to support us financially, you can. Patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, when we are 1 week away.
It'll be less than 1 week, but yeah.
Less than 1 week by the time this goes live. I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
That was for the players. For the players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: Damien Holdies, Lee Wintershoven, Sean Levitt, and Solomon Barak.